By now, I'm sure you've heard the tragic passing of the popular and talented singer Osinachi Nwachukwu and the recent court sentencing of her husband, Mr. Nwachukwu. Osinachi passed on the 8th of April 2002 in Abuja Hospital where she resides. Osinachi died at 42 years of age. Osinachi was a member and a lead singer at Dumebi Church, Abuja, Nigeria. Osinachi, with her angelic voice, was loved all over the world. The news of her death broke out on the internet. It was reported that she died of throat cancer. But again, as people began to pour their heartfelt tributes, the possible cause of her death began to emerge, and her elder sister Favour was the first person to debunk the news that her sister did not die of throat cancer. In her statement, she said, Osinachi did not die of cancer. The husband, Mr. Peter Nwachukwu, hit her with his leg on her chest. All this while, he has been beating her, but my sister hides all that she was passing through from us. Before now, we have told her to come out of the marriage. We told her that they are not divorcing and that it's just separation. But she felt that God is against divorce. We told her that separation is not a sin, but just for her to stay alive and take care of her children. She will always tell us to just relax, that the man will change. When the man kicked her in her chest, she fell down and he took her to the hospital. But he did not tell any of us. It was our friend who lives in Ebonyi State that called her twin sister, because Osinachi had a twin sister, to ask, did your sister tell you that Peter hit her on her chest? The sister then told her no, it was the hitting on the chest that killed her. My brother had to ask the doctor what killed her, and the doctor said there were clusters of blood on her chest. And this and many other abuse she alleged. The sister also alleged that Peter was in charge of her money. He acts as her manager and that he is the one who negotiates her bookings and all the money is paid into his own personal account. She claimed he ordered Osinachi to reveal her YouTube password channel, and when she refused, he gave her the beating of her life. She also said many times Osinachi was left with no money. She'll end up borrowing here and there. Peter always threatened them that if Osinachi does not come back alive, she will come back dead. To the extent that even when she passed, Peter did not inform any of them. Anytime they tell Osinachi to leave, she will say he will change, that they should calm down. And at some point, she stopped telling the sisters what she was going through. Peter denied her access to her entire family. Osinachi was making millions, yet Peter would not pay for a flight for her bookings. Instead, he would put her on a night bus anytime she had an event to attend. On many occasions, Peter would not pay for her hotel, but instead would ask her to stay with a friend. Another person who came out to give his account that Osinachi did not die of lung cancer was Frank Edward. In his report, he said, one time in a studio, this man slapped her just because she wanted to record the song in Igbo against his will. She does not do anything on her own. She will say, please beg my husband. He was at his mercy. I didn't know the intensity of what she was going through. I didn't know how somebody would be so jealous of their wife or claim to love. There are a lot of stories where people told her this and that, but what I know was that the control was too much. The other time, somebody wanted me to get her for an event and I contacted her, but she said, beg my husband. He was too controlling and would take the money she made from events. However, said the singer was secretive about what she was going through in her marriage. I only got to know because Auntie Joy contacted me to promote her song. That was when I got a glimpse into what was happening. He said, it's crazy. He lamented. A former managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Joy Nue, once gifted the singer a studio in Abuja. Still, her husband never allowed her to use the studio simply because it was built without his permission. Crying out for justice, Edward said he would go all out on social media for the first time in his career until justice was served. So Osinachi's mom gave her own weeping account. She said she never visited her house in Abuja, not even for Omugo. He said Osinachi had 3 boys and a girl. She never did omugo for any of the 4 children simply because Peter gave instruction that she should never come. He said there was a time she was so sick, so she called her daughter Osinachi and then to please let her mom come. She said finally Peter agreed. Immediately she arrived, Peter changed his mind and asked her to leave. Osinachi, who didn't have a choice, went to her mom and pleaded with her to leave. So she left. She said Peter has always told her that if Osinachi does not come back alive, she will come back dead. Her twin sister too gave her own account on the suffering Osinachi went through. He said Peter banned her from having contact with any of her family members. He said when he called her, as long as Peter was there, Osinachi would not take her calls. She said Osinachi would hide to say hello to her at events, and that the only brother they have was in the streets of Abuja without food, no roof on his head, that he lived in a ghetto in Abuja, yet he had a sister who lived in the same Abuja as him, that could not even help herself, talk more of helping him. This same woman, Osinachi, was making millions of money, yet she had no money to even buy basic necessities for herself. Even her children were not left behind. Her children gave account of how their own father would beat their mom with a cane or anything he lays his hand on. They recounted the night when he had her last child, and that the father sent her out in the middle of the night with a newborn baby, and that it was the first son who gave her a wrapper that she used to wrap herself and her newborn baby all night outside, even though she was the one who was paying the rent. It was so bad that her first son, who was 12 as at that time, could not even read or write. And this was due to the chaos, the instability, and the abuse that was going on in the house. The Minister of Affairs, who went to visit the house, said that she wanted to have a clear picture of what was really going on in the house. And the only way she could achieve this was to visit the home and hear from the children. Because she knows children, they don't tell lies. This woman came out weeping fiercely because of the unbelievable testimonies from the children. And after that, Peter was arrested. And on the 3rd of June, a 23-count charge was against him, including culpable homicide that is punishable by death, criminal intimidation, child cruelty, spousal abuse, and other offenses. This trial began on June 20th, 2022, and at some point, he pleaded no guilty. But just Monday here, 28th of April 2025, that's 3 years after Osinachi's passing, Judge Nwosu Iheme found Peter Nwachukwu guilty and sentenced him to death by hanging. The truth is, I'm not trying to break marriages, or I'm not trying to encourage divorce or broken homes, but again, the question you want to ask yourself is, at what cost would you stay in an abusive marriage? Is it at the cost of your life and destiny, or at the cost of your emotional well-being, or at the cost of your children? We're all happy that justice has been served, right? But I still feel very sad. Feel really sad because these innocent children will never forget this trauma that they have been through. Father took mother's life, and now father is sentenced to death. Will this justice ever remove their pain? Will it ever remove the love of their mother, the security they get from a peaceful home? Who will help them go through the healing of fear, go through the healing of confusion, and the healing of betrayal and grief? Who will tell them that they are still loved regardless? Who will tell them that they still deserve to be protected from significant harm? Also, dear parents, it's important to know that the monster Peter is today, he didn't just start today. Remember, he is a product of who raised him and the environment he was raised. As a child, he may have been raised in an abusive home. Perhaps he saw his father abuse his mother endlessly. He may not have been abused himself, but growing up in an abusive environment became a norm for him, and it formed a pattern for him. And when he became an adult, he started doing the same to his wife. Dear parents, the danger of raising children in an abusive environment is, whether you are the abuser or the abused, as long as your children are seeing it, you're forming a pattern for them. You're giving them a template and a lifestyle. Peter and Osinachi were handed a template by the adult who raised them. Hence, the abuser abused, and the abused could not voice out nor seek help. Dear parents, As long as you have children, it is no longer about you in an abusive marriage, but it's about what is right. It's about what you want your children to learn. It's about the path you want your children to go, because you are training them through modeling. You are training them through the things you do daily and through your lifestyle. And lastly, for me, dear parents, never shut them down while they are speaking. Be patient enough to listen to them when they are speaking to you or when they are talking to you, especially your quiet children or the compliant children. So, for example, they come to you to complain on how their siblings is being mean to them, or treated them or hit them or something. Never say to them, it's okay, or it's just a child, or it's your younger one. Or say to them, is that why you are crying? That's okay. Is that why you are crying? This small thing. Because doing all of this is what will shape who your child will become in the future. Otherwise, you end up raising children who are not able to express their feelings, even in the most excruciating pain. They'll just keep enduring and bearing it. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. What do you think about this video? Do you think people change in adulthood? Do you think people can change in marriage? Share your thoughts. And if you have experienced domestic abuse or any abuse of any kind, please share in the comment section so we can learn from each other. And also, please share this video and like it. If you have watched me and you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. And in my next video, I'll see you there. Bye bye.